then what should or can we expect in terms of the power of the Holy Spirit? And so I want to combine the answer to this question with our final encouragement for you, that we are power-filled to be powerful witnesses. We are power-filled to be powerful witnesses. And so if we look back a little bit, Acts chapter 1, verse 8, where Jesus gives this promise to his disciples, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses. And I want to highlight this part. You see that's in the yellow here. You will be my witnesses, that there is a purpose to the power that is granted all believers through the Holy Spirit. And this is really important to keep in mind because some get wrapped up in seeking after the gifts of the Holy Spirit, whether that be tongues or another gift of the Spirit. But sometimes that is done for their own personal gratification or for their own enrichment. And we need to keep in mind that the meaning of Pentecost was not to encourage believers to then seek experiences of the Holy Spirit's empowerment for their own good or for their own edification. But rather, the purpose of being empowered by the Holy Spirit is to be empowered to live on mission by telling the story and proclaiming the story of God's glory. And it is because we have the Holy Spirit that you and I together now can fulfill the mission mandate that Jesus gives us in Acts chapter 1, verse 8, to be his witnesses as we are empowered by the Holy Spirit. And so what that means is that your experience of God's power, whatever that shape or form that may take, is to be a proclamation of the mighty deeds of God to others. And so, like we said, while we shouldn't expect necessarily an audible or visible or verbal, like tongues, like we see in Acts chapter 2, I do want to suggest one very powerful way that God demonstrates power in us or through us, which is also then a very powerful witness of his presence and the truth of his reality. And so this one way, is that God actually, in fact, demonstrates his power through his ability to change your life. Right? That power of the Holy Spirit, that empowerment, demonstrates itself, shows itself in the ability for your life to be transformed. And we see evidence of this even back in the book of Acts. So a little bit later, Acts chapter 4, we see how the power of the Holy Spirit changes Peter and John. It says there, verse 13 of chapter 4, now when they saw the boldness, so the crowd that was gathered, the boldness of Peter and John, and perceived that they were uneducated, common men, they were astonished. And they recognized that they had been with Jesus. So that's incredible to note, that these supposedly uneducated, common men would speak with such authority, with such power, that it would surprise the crowds. And as it surprised them, they would also then point and recognize, as it says, that they had been with Jesus. And similarly in your life, that one of the most powerful ways that you can bear witness to Jesus is through the ways that the Holy Spirit empowers you, transforms your life, changes you. And that can be a powerful witness to those who know you, and even for those that don't really know you, to see that transformation that takes place.